Hey YouTube, this is Soling Smash here, and today I decided I'm going to do a new video on my gaming setup. Now as you can see, it's changed quite a bit. Wait, where is it? Here it is. I've moved the location from the game setup over here since I got these new shelves. And you may be able to tell quite a few other differences as well. So I'll be sure to go over that. But first, let's talk games. So, here I have my gaming magazines as usual. I actually got some new Nintendo Power issues, well, old Nintendo Power issues. Here I have Game Boy and Game Boy Advance accessories, and here I have my Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color and Game Gear games, as well as Game Boy Advance, SP, Pocket, and Color. I decided to move these down here because then I can use the Game Boy Player and Super Game Boy more easily without having to go up 2 floors in order to get a game. I decided to keep all of the Game Boy Advance games and before down here because I consider that part of the retro. I have plenty of Nintendo DS and 3DS games, but I figured it wasn't classic enough and it would just take too much space. So, okay. Down in this shelf, we got primarily my boxed games. Here I have my Game Boy, which no longer works. But besides that, I have some Atari games, PS2, and GameCube. Stretches all the way. As well as 2 Genesis games in the box, a VHS tape, and a Game Boy Player disc. My Genesis games, including Sonic & Knuckles, which you can't really see very well. Here I have my plug and play, as well as all of my extra manuals. Down here, this has grown quite a bit. Especially my NES collection. I really hit the jackpot with this. Yeah, one of my relatives had an NES in their basement, and they didn't want it anymore, so I got it and all their games. And I also got some other good games from stores and stuff like that. Super Nintendo, not too much has changed, but it's still here. Here's PlayStation and Dreamcast. I've gotten some more PlayStation games, so that's steadily growing. Here, I don't think I've got too many new N64 games. I have Perfect Dark. This one is the Mario Party 3, and this one is a second copy of Ocarina of Time. And on top, I have 4 Famicom games. And here, I have my extra Atari games. And here, I've got all my main accessories. In terms of new things, well, I've gotten a lot of PS2 controllers, NES. There you see my N64 jumper pack, because now I have the expansion pack. I also have an additional zapper, the gray one. Before, I only had the orange one. Over here are all of my main controllers that I use. Here you go. In this tub are a bunch of electronic parts that I just keep stored in there. Over here I have 2 console cases. There's for the Wii and that's for the Game Boy Advance SP. You may have noticed here's the Power Pad on NES, which I finally own, and I can finally play World Class Track Meet. Here I have 2 Guitar Hero guitars. And in this treasure chest, yeah, here is quite a lot of stuff. Here's some packaging for Wii and some GameCube stuff. I just keep it in here so it doesn't get in the way. Here I have a Slim PS2. I actually got both a Slim and a Fat PS2 at the same time, and both work perfectly. And here I have my old NES. You can definitely tell it's yellowed with age. And here I just have a bunch of parts that I will actually have a use for. Here I have an additional switch box in case I need one later on. And then a bunch of AC adapters for consoles that I'm not using currently. And on to the main event. Here is my setup. So, TV is still the same, which unfortunately means mono sound. But I have acquired an audio splitter that you can see, so that stereo sound goes through my mono TV, which is really nice. Here I have my Wii, as usual, and this is the Atari Flashback Model 1. It's a dedicated plug-and-play console, which plays really crappy emulated versions of 2600 games. There are many versions of the Flashback. The one that's currently out is Atari Flashback 4. As far as I can tell, the best version is Atari Flashback 2. So I guess that's an interesting thing. I'm not planning to keep this here forever. Once I get like a new console or something that I need to open up a port for, I'll put this in storage. And that goes in through this port here because it uses mono sound. And if I ever want to play the plug and play, I just unplug that and put it in. Here actually I have instructions to play games for my family that has no idea what to do. So, and since last we met, I have acquired 2 switch boxes. This one has 4 outputs. This one has 3. This one only has RCA, as you can tell. This one actually supports S-Video. There's 2 outputs in the back, and then three more inputs and one in the front. Both outputs support S-Video, and 2 of the imports support S-Video as well. So if I ever get an S-Video cable for one of these, I'll be sure to take advantage of that. Although I'm certain that this TV doesn't take advantage of S-Video, but I don't know, it's worth a shot. Here I have VHS player, which basically acts as a giant switch box in my case. So really there's 3, since I have a lot of things going in and out of the VCR, and this is the thing that I have plugged into the back with the splitter. So all of my RCA goes through this, so I get optimal sound. And then, of course, that you may have noticed, is a PS2. I have finally acquired one after all these years. As you may guess, it also acts as my DVD player. And, ooh, I've forgotten to take this out. This is the Guitar Hero thing. My sisters have been playing a lot of that, so I'll just put it back. Alright. Okay. I'm going to show you the rest of the consoles, and then I'll show you how everything works. Second level, I've got, first and foremost, in front, I've got my Famicom, finally. I love this system. I personally think it's the best system ever made, and I'm really glad to finally own one. For those of you not in the know, the Famicom is the Japanese version of the NES. And I've been playing this a lot too, mostly because of all the new games, well, new old games that I've gotten for the system. Here I have GameCube, N64, Super Nintendo, and Genesis Model 2. And down here I've got the same 4-switch Atari, PlayStation, and Dreamcast. So, how do they all connect to the TV? Well, I'll tell you, but first, back here, the power. So, this has also changed quite a bit. It's the same surge protector, but some of the things have been altered. The white power plug at the front is for the TV, and the black one behind it is for the VCR. Those are the 2 that are usually on. This thick one goes to Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and GameCube. This one goes to Genesis, Atari 2600, PlayStation, and Dreamcast. I found a way to put 4 on a 3 plug so that I don't have to switch anything for these two anymore. And then the thin brown one operates the PlayStation 2, the NES, and for the time being the Atari Flashback, although when I get a new system, that's probably where it's going to go. As for the Famicom, there it is. It plugs into the wall besides there, because it's not a good idea to put it on a surge protector on the same level as other North American consoles because of the power difference. And so I always keep it unplugged when not in use, and I be careful not to let it burn out. I spent like $13 on this, so I want to make it last. Now how to connect each of the systems. Like you know before, this has 2 RCA and 1 coaxial. The coaxial goes to the NES, the Genesis, and the Atari. This one goes to the Atari Flashback, although this can also be for the plug-and-play. In the back, the splitter, the audio splitter, and the video cable go to the VCR. The VCR has two RCA inputs and 1 coaxial input. The coaxial input I use for the Famicom. Now you're probably wondering, why don't I just put the Famicom directly through this TV? Well, this TV doesn't pick up channel 95 or 96, which is necessary for what the Famicom needs. But on this, you can change the frequency to that. So I use that as a demodulator in order to play it on this TV. The other RCA port in the back is empty, and it'll stay that way for the time being until I get a new console or I just want to shift stuff around. This is the other input. This goes to this switch box. This switch box again has 4 inputs: AV1, 2, 3, and 4, and right now all of them are in use. AV1 goes to that switch box. Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and GameCube, all controlled by the switch box. AV2 goes to the PS2, AV3 goes to the PlayStation, and AV4 goes to the Dreamcast. And I think that's about it. That's how they hook up. I really don't have much else to talk about, so I guess I'll talk to you later. See ya.